people, welcome back to Politics Watch. Today we're going to address one of Jamaica's greatest mysteries. And that mystery is, how do poor ghetto youths afford big shot, expensive lawyers? Now, whenever we hear some ghetto youth get in trouble, whether it's a murder charge or robbery, whatever the case, sometimes, actually a lot of times, when they turn up to court, the lawyers they turn up to court with are some of Jamaica's most prestigious and expensive, right? I'm talking about people like QC Valrinita, Tom Tavares Finson, Peter Champagne, Bert Samuels, Christopher Townsend, people like that. How on earth do poor ghetto youths who can barely afford to put on a pot, a white rice and chicken back afford these very expensive lawyers? I'll tell you how. Two main ways. The number one way is the sponsor. The sponsor is whoever is sending them on their missions. Right? The sponsors are the people who think of them as their honchos. So the ghetto youth play the role of the foot soldier who carry out the mission. Right? And the sponsor is the boss with the money. Right? Now the boss with the money, he's the one that supplies the ghetto youth with these expensive weapons. Weapons that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when one of his top soldiers get catch and is about to go to jail, the same sponsor recruit one of Jamaica's elite lawyers. And this is how you see ghetto youths turning up to court with these lawyers by their side. So now we ask the question, if the sponsor can give the ghetto youth a $300,000 rifle and pay for a $1 million lawyer, why that sponsor don't help the ghetto youth escape poverty? Why that sponsor don't pay for the ghetto youth do a mechanical course or some technical course or send him go college or something? Because clearly he has the resources to do it. Right? So this shows how ghetto youths are used as pawns in Jamaica. They're used as pawns and exploited. Right? Because and the ghetto youth is not immune to blame, you know, because if them did have sense, they would have turned around to the man who has sent them go do these killings, yeah? And he would say, hold on bossy, hold on. If you can give me a $300,000 gun, why not give me $300,000 to start a business? If you can give me a $500,000 rifle, why not just give me the $500,000? I'm set up myself properly. That's what they would ask if they were smart. Explain to me. Because you're living in somewhere. You live in a house. The food you eat, the conditions you live under are extreme poverty. Right? You can't afford to send your them go school. You can't afford to pay for their health care. You can't afford, if you even need bus fare to go on job interview, you claim you can't find it. You can't find the bus fare to go on job interview. Pure excuses. But if you get catch for a certain charge, and you that turn up a court with Valrinita beside of you, Tom Tavares Finson beside of you, Peter Champagne beside of you, so how you find that money then? The same person will give you that money, Regine, tell that same person to set you up, so you no longer have to rob people. Cause this is the excuse, right? Poverty, that's the excuse, you know, poverty. Now, You're using a weapon that costs 300,000, rob a man 10,000. Think about the logic behind that. Because I speak directly to the youth them now, you know. You're using, your boss give you a gun valued 300,000 and you're using it to rob somebody 10,000. Come on, but when are you going to wake up and start thinking? People get in the comment section right away. You know I like to interact with the people who are listening to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. How it makes sense for a man have something worth 300,000 and I rob somebody 10,000. That come like me I drive a Range Rover and then I carjack a man in 98 Corolla. Me I drive around in a Range Rover and I rob man and I carjack man them 98 Corolla. First question that I ask is how that makes sense. Right? So these expensive lawyers who these get to use turn up to court with. Right? Now we know the system work. Of course a lawyer will tell you how they're just doing their job and people have a right to representation and all that. Yeah, cool. We know the lingo already. But why more people don't ask the questions how they can afford these lawyers? Because most 9 to 5 Jamaicans, a matter of fact, most people who are listening to the sound of my voice right now can't afford Tom Tavares Twins. Most people who are listening to this video now cannot afford Peter Champagne, Bird Samuels. They can't afford it. All if you sell a car, you probably can't afford it. Right. And blacks from Rona Jungle who we hear say can't even afford to send him Pitney go school. I turn up a court with Peter Champagne beside him. People, how is that possible? Right? So it shows you that all of these youths have a cash cow behind them. Right? Don't get me wrong, you know, some of them have their own money, you know, because I mentioned before the two main ways. The other way is some of them over time the money where them acquire through various means, then pay for them own a lawyer. Those men are in the minority. The average getter you, the average thugs, the average quenga, bad all him life and dead poor. Let me say that again. The average bad man in Jamaica, bad all him life and dead poor. Right? So when you see them come a court, understand, is them cash cow. I sponsor them. Because you need to understand, in the world of badness, not all soldiers are equal, not all foot soldiers are equal. There's some man who they don't mind if them go to prison. Them can go to prison. But then there are some shooters who the boss need for that road. So we must understand that where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And until we start looking beyond the surface and not just look at the youth who are court answer the charge, and still we start to look at the support system that surrounds these murderers, we're never going to get to the end of crime, because there's a support system around them. Their sponsors and their enablers. These are the people we have to get to if we want to end or at least drastically reduce crime in Jamaica. Not just the shooter, but the system, the ecosystem that surrounds the shooter. Until these people get exposed, named and shamed, I'm afraid the crime situation in Jamaica will never stop. Because all they will do is replace one ghetto youth with the next ghetto youth. Replace one shooter with the next shooter. The support system, the ecosystem, that is what Jamaica must target if we really want to see our crime situation change. Anyway, people, jump in the comment section and let me know what you think. Big up.